Hi everybody, welcome to Aquatics. If you're new here, my name's Adam. So today I thought we'd just do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you my tanks today. So I'm going to go around each tank, I'm going to maybe do a little bit of tidying up, a little bit of maintenance perhaps, and just let you see how they're looking, what fish are in there, what plants are in there. I've had a lot of questions asking me, you know, what's this plant, what's that plant, what equipment am I using, things like that. So I thought, well, why don't I just show you around? That'll be the easiest way, and you can see all of my tanks. So I hope you enjoy. So we will start off with this 75 litre or 20 gallon aquarium. So I like to call this one my Rasbora aquarium. Main reason being that the Rasboras which are in here, the Harlequin Rasboras, so you can see we've got the blue ones there, or the purple ones, and we've also got the standard type. They were originally in this tank here before we rescaped it. So yeah, I made this for them really, so that's why I like to call it the Rasbora tank. And we've also got these rummy-nosed tetras in here. So there's 7 of those rummy-nosed tetras. I'm not sure exactly how many Rasboras we've got. And yeah, they're all doing absolutely fantastic in there. In addition to that, we've got some ram's horn snails. Everybody knows that I like my snails. So they're in there as well. And we've also got some blue cherry shrimp. As you can just see one just down there near that leaf. But I think they're all underneath that leaf at the moment. Oh, there's another one there. So yeah, that's the main inhabitants of this tank. Now there is a honey gourami in here as well, although I can't see it at the moment. I'll find that in a minute for you. So as I say, this tank is an Awase Scaperline 60. So like I say, it's a 20 gallon tank, 75 litres. Recent changes we've made, and I did a video on that, was we added the Awase Filto Smart Thermo 100. Well, we ordered the Filto Smart 100, but I turned it into a Filto Smart Thermo by putting the heater inside. And that's just the pipes just here, the intake and the outtake, or the output. So in terms of plants, so this plant here, that one, that's Alternathera Arenici Pink, which I've just put a little piece of it there. The main bulk of it is over on this side, just in the back corner there. We've also got some Bolbitis, which is this epiphyte plant just there. We've got a Nubius Nanacoin here. This is a Bucephalandra, I think this is Kedagang, this one. We've got this narrow leaf Java fern, or trident Java fern just here. We've got 2 of those. And then we've got some more Anubias here, which one of them's bonsai and one of them's mini. I'm not sure which way around it is. We've also got Cryptocrine Wenditii Green, which is in the back there. And just if we come over the top here, we've got some Rotala orange juice there. And the plant at the back, which is quite well hidden, is Hygrophila siamensis 53B, which is this plant just here, which is growing really well. Well, it's nearly coming out the top of the tank now. But yeah, as you can see, the water level is a little bit low on that. So I'm going to top that up in a minute. I'll put the camera down and we'll top that up. And I just want to give those plants a bit of a trim as well and replant the Rotala orange juice just to the back there. So yeah, that is how this tank's doing. I'll just show you the filter actually. So that's the Awase Filto Smart. As I say, I bought this as the Filto Smart 100, and then I already had a heater. So I bought the Thermo kit, which converts it, so it lets you put the heater inside. So that turns it into the Filto Smart Thermo 100. So yeah, that's been doing really well. I'll probably do a review video on that, like a long-term review video. so you can see how things are going, and we'll give it its first clean, but I'm not ready to do that today. Yeah, so what I like to do is I just like to sort of scrape off this sort of bit of a scum line which you get when the water evaporates. So I normally just give this a quick clean off. As I say, I know a lot of people will say, well, if you keep topping the water up, you get issues with TDS. It's not something which I've ever had an issue with, to be honest. But as I say, I do a water change. I do. Probably, I guess maybe every 1 to 2 weeks, depends on how things are going, really. Depends on how the tank's looking. This tank's quite good in that it doesn't really get too dirty. So yeah, just like to give it a bit of a clean, get the scum line off it. And then, yeah, so we've got, I always use Seachem Prime as my sort of main dechlorinator. Now, I don't know what the rest of you do. What I like to do is I like to just dose a tank, and I usually just dose a full tank volume. So this tank's 75 litres, so that's probably just under, yeah, half a cap is 100 litres, so probably just under half a cap. So always give it a good little shake up. And if we just go a little bit under half, there we go. That's probably going to be plenty. And then the other one I like to add is Seachem Pristine. Now, to be honest, this contains a bacteria. There is another one, Stability, which you would use to like cycle your tank. It does say that you can use it when you're doing water changes. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really know the full science behind these. I always just add it as a matter of course, because I think, well, you know, someone spent a lot of money on developing these products, so they must work, so why not add them? So I always add them anyway. You don't have to, but it's just something I like to do. So that's going to be about a cap full of that. We'll add that to the tank. And then, yeah, we're just ready to, we could just top it up now. So I'm just going to pour some in. There's no, I'm not using any special hoses here, just old school with the bucket. So I'll probably end up making a mess, but let's just go for it. And that'll probably be enough until weekend. And then at weekend, I will probably give it a water change, because it's not had one. I think it's been 2 weeks, this tank. Well, like I say, it's quite self-managing, really, as you want from your tanks, especially when they're planted and you've got a good cleanup crew in there. You don't need fish to manage the algae. I think snails and shrimp are much more efficient. There's loads of them in this tank, and I think that's proof that they really do a good job. I understand that if you've got bigger fish, you can't really have snails and shrimp, in which case you might need something else. But then, to be fair, if you're having bigger fish in your tank, you know, maybe predatory fish, chances are you're probably not going to be using plants, and therefore you're probably not going to have too much algae, especially if you don't run your lights for that long, because you've not got plants. So, you know, one thing sort of offsets the other, really. The other thing I like to do when I've topped the water up is, as I say, I will be doing a water change on this at the weekend probably. So this is Thursday today. No, it's not, it's Wednesday. So I'll probably be doing a water change on this on Sunday. But I will still add some plant fertiliser. I use the Easy Life Pro Phyto because there's a lot of plants in here, so they'll probably consume this anyway within a few days. And by the time it gets to the weekend, they'll be ready for some more. So I'm going to add some in anyway. So this is about 7.5 millilitres. I think it's 10 mil. Yeah, so it's 10 mil per 100 litres. So 1 mil per 10 litres. So yeah, about 7.5 for 75 litres. So let's pour that in. And that goes. So yeah, we just give that orange juice a bit of a trim and a replant. Just get my scissors and my tweezers. So yeah, it's just near the surface there, so I'm just going to give that a little trim. I usually like to go about halfway. Yeah, I usually go about halfway with these. We'll just snip those off. It's a lovely plant, this Rotala orange juice. It's just, it tends to bend over a lot when it gets near the surface, which doesn't always look the best. But other than that, it grows really fast and it does look really nice. And of course, with it growing so fast, you can always harvest it and put it in other tanks if you want to. Them all together like that. Can we see that? There you go. So let's get them all together like that. And then I'll just plant this whole lot as a bunch. There's a nice little space at the back here, which I'm going to go for. Just near the filter outlet. And there we go. We just give these guys a little bit of food. So I feed a couple of different foods. So yeah, we've got the NT Labs probiotic, which I like to feed. So that'll be going in. And I also like to feed some Tetra flakes. It's quite good when fish get to sort of know what certain things mean. So put a little bit of food in for them. This is just the NT Labs granule food, the probiotic. Put that in first. Let them have a little bit of that. And we'll just pop a little bit of the flake in as well, just so they've got something else. Some of the fish in here I've noticed prefer the flake and some prefer the granule, which I guess is just like humans really. We don't like everything, do we? So I'll just put a little bit of flake in. I do have a tendency to overfeed, guys, so don't be alarmed if it looks like it's a lot of food. There we go. So that's a good feed for those guys for the day. Always good feeders in this tank. Never really have any issues. And anything that does drop to the bottom, as I say, there's a lot of snails in there, there's a lot of shrimp in there, so they'll tidy that up. You could probably see the honey gourami there, which has actually come out just at the top of your shot. He's finally made an appearance. Yeah, the other thing as well I found about harlequin rasboras as well, guys, is they do have a tendency to only eat the food which is at the top of the tank. You very rarely will see them swim down to the bottom to pick up any of the food, which is another reason why I added the rummy-nosed tetras, because they will. So if any food that does drop to the bottom, they will go and graze down there, as will the honey gourami, of course. He will also have a little bit, or she, I don't know if it's a he or a she. So yeah, that was the main reason why I did it. Otherwise, I would have kept it as a rasbora tank. So yeah, this is my daughter's aquarium. So again, there's all full videos about this on the channel. At the moment, it's all doing really well. I'm not going to be doing any sort of trimming and replanting on this one today. It'd just be a top up. You could probably just see in the background there that there is quite a chunk of algae. So I'm trying to battle that at the moment. I'm pretty sure it was staghorn algae. I'm not entirely certain what it is now, to be honest. It's definitely not blackbeard, but with the colour of it, it's making me think that it is on its way out. So hopefully, as I say, I've been doing a little bit of an experiment on this. So there will be another video about that if it goes well. So yeah, this has just got 6 peppercorys in at the moment. So they are really nice fish. Never had those before. So we've got 6 of those, and I think there's about 14 male Endlers in here as well, which are a lot smaller than guppies. Very similar fish, probably from the same gene pool perhaps, I can't remember, but yeah, again, very active fish, very nice, very colourful, which is why my daughter picked them. So yeah, again with this you can see that the water level is a little bit low, so we are going to give that a bit of a top up. So I'll do the same thing again. I'll be adding the Seachem Prime, the Seachem Pristine, and some Profito plant food. And then we'll give them some food as well, because again, these have not been fed today. We've got, so this is a Bucephalandra here. I think it's Thea Green. This is a Nubius Nana. There's 2 pieces there actually, one there, one there. We've got this foreground plant is Helianthemum tenellum, which is a really nice carpeting plant. We've got, stops focusing on my finger, so that's a Nubius bonsai. We've got a crypt flamingo here, and there's a Wendatii brown, I think, just behind it. The reddish plant at the back there is Ludwigia mini super red. We've then got Hygrophila polysperma rosavig, which is next to it, which goes like a nice pink colour. And then we've got Rotala green, sorry, Rotala rotundifolia, which is that sort of spikier one there. And then we've just got, in Groot there, we've got some dwarf hairgrass. I'll just show you actually over the top, you'll see the pink of the Hygrophila. There we go. So you can just see there it's sort of pink as it gets near the white. Very nice plant, very nice plant. And very underrated, I think. I don't see too many people using it in their tank. But yeah, it's really nice. The other thing as well is this is a Superfish Scaper 45 tank. So it's a 45 centimetre tank, so it's 45 litres or 10 gallons roughly. It does come as a kit, so you normally get a Superfish Scaper light, which I'm not using, and you get a filter, which I'm not using. The reason being is because the Scaper, the Superfish filter, it's a good filter, but it is cartridge based and I don't really like that. I like to fill it up with my own media. So that's why I'm not using it. And the other thing is the light is incredibly bright for this size tank. I think when Superfish designed it, they probably intended for people to be using injected CO2, which as you know, I don't use. So yeah, I've swapped it out for this smaller light, but all will be revealed in another video if things go to plan. I've probably already said too much, but yeah, watch out for that video. And I do like my houseplants as well, so there's a Monstera just to the right of it there, which is doing quite well. Yeah, again, so I'm just going to clean off any scum marks that are at the top. Not many on this tank, which is why it's strange that we're getting the algae issue, because it's quite a clean tank really. Doesn't seem to be many issues with it. But as I say, I am testing something out at the moment, so there will be a video on that all being well. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to take drastic action, use chemicals, which I don't like to do. So just get that scum mark off there. And again, we're going to add our Secam Prime. And again, we'll just give the rim a little bit of a clean up. There we go. And that is pretty much all I do. So I'll do that maybe a couple of times a week. And I will do a water change sort of maybe every 1 to 2 weeks. And it usually works out quite fine, really. Everyone has their own little routines, don't they? That's the one I'm in. So yeah, let's just give these guys a little bit of food. So these will only have, so I do put some of the probiotic in for them as well. So I put a little bit of that in just for the Corys, because they do like to eat that. So I usually drop a little bit in there in the corner, because that's where they like to eat the most. So I usually pop a little bit in there. And then again, a bit of the flake, and I'll just crumble this up as small as I can really. The Endlers have only got little tiny mouths, so let me just dry my hands actually. Otherwise we'll end up putting a massive clump of flake food in there, which I don't want to do. So yeah, we'll just put a little tiny bit in. There we go. That's probably enough. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. So if the tank looks a bit murky, it's because I had to do a water change earlier. I adjusted the pump on this, and it just pumped out a load of gunk into the tank. So it is clear, and it will clear. This tank is an Aqua Nano 60, so it's a 60 centimetre tank or 2 foot, and it's 100 litres, but it does have a built-in sump in the back as the filter compartment, which is great. You can put loads of media in there. The problem is when you do clean it out, you end up with this big chunk of rubbish getting thrown into your tank, which doesn't hurt the fish, you know, it's already in the system. It's just a pain, it looks ugly for ages, but we'll give these guys a bit of food and see if they come up. Come on. Always a good sign when your fish do this, by the way. You know, I always like to give a little wave over the top or a little tap on the glass. And it just, you know, lets you see your fish before you drop some food in. So let's just pop a little bit of food in here. Again, these just have a little bit of flake as well. We'll drop a little bit of flake in first, get that in the water. There we go. So they'll enjoy that. And then there's 2 new fish actually to this. So this tank contains it's basically tetras mainly. So I think there are 9 black phantom tetras in here. There are 8 ember tetras. We've got 10 cardinal tetras. We've also got a Siamese algae eater, which I may move on soon because it's getting a bit boisterous, especially around feeding time, which you may see in the video. It tends to just, you know, chase the other fish away sometimes. He's quite happy now, but when there's not much food left, he will chase them off. So yeah, I might have to move him on. He's quite a bit bigger than the rest and he's still got time to grow as well. What else is in here? So we've got Amano shrimp in here as well, which are great cleaners. You know, absolutely fantastic shrimp. Of course, they don't get too small. Sorry, they're not too small. So most fish won't even bother them. I don't think any of the fish in here have even touched them. And we've got 2 new additions in here, which I'll show you some close-up shots in a minute. We've got a lovely pair of Apistogramma macmasteri. So I've got a male and a female. I've had an Apistogramma before, but I've never had a pair and I've never had this type. So I will show you those in a second. I'm just going to put this food down and put some granule food in as well, because they really do like that as well. Where are we going? So yeah, there's not really a filter on this tank as such. It is a sump compartment with a return pump in the back. And that, I mean, it keeps everything tidy. There's nothing really on show. There is this Fluval SK400 surface skimmer here. And again, the reason for that is because with the pump outlet being on the right hand side here, I find that the circulation over the other side is not the best. So I'll put that surface skimmer on just to keep that water flow going. And of course it also cleans up any muck that's on the top as well. So yeah, we will, if I just go a little bit closer, let me see if my camera will go a bit closer. There we go. So you can probably see one of the Apistogrammas at the top there. Give you some close-up shots in a second, but I'm going to just drop some granule food in as well. There we go. You can see the female there as well, actually. I know a lot of people will probably think that I overfeed my fish, and I probably do, but they only get fed once a day. And I only put, as you've just seen there, I waited till he ate all the flake food before I added any more. Again, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it really. So long as your fish are eating all the food you put in, it's not really an overfeed as such. I've seen a lot of people, you know, lots of different videos and people commenting saying, oh, you've put way too much food in there. But don't get me wrong, my fish don't get fed up every day. They don't need to, they have enough fat reserves. You know, so if I go away for the weekend or anything like that, very often I'll just leave them, you know. I'll make sure the tank's had a water change and everything, and I'll just leave them for a couple of days and they're absolutely fine. You know, you don't need to feed your fish all the time, guys, so don't be worried about that. You know, if you want to go away for a few days, don't feel like you have to ask a family member to feed your fish, because I know that it always makes me very nervous and quite anxious, really. So I tend to just let people, I tend to just leave the tank to its own devices for a couple of days. If I was going away for longer than that, then yeah, I might, you know, I might get someone to feed them. But what I would do actually, and this is a good tip, is if you've ever seen the little medicine packets where people have to take different tablets and things each day, they have little tiny compartments, and I've used those to put little bits of food in the past. So when I've asked someone to feed the fish, I'll just put a little bit in those for each day. And again, if you're not sure and you think they might overfeed, don't put one in for every day, you know, put one in for every other day. You know, it works out quite well. So I'll just take you off the tripod and I'll give you a bit of a closer look at the tank and at that lovely Apisto, which you can just see in the middle of the shot there, who is absolutely stunning. There he is. Look at the colours on him. Absolutely stunning fish. Really, really nice. Gets on well with everything in here, really, apart from the female. He's not too keen on the female at the moment. Now, I have done some research on it, and it would seem that she's not ready to breed yet. I think she's a bit on the young side, so he's probably ready to breed with her, and she's not. So what he's doing is he's chasing her away, which I believe that in the wild they would chase the female away in the hope that a more exciting prospect would come along, one that is ready to breed. Obviously, being in a tank, he's not going to get another female in here, so I guess he will just have to be patient. Yeah, but like I said, the intention wasn't to really breed them, but when I asked in the fish shop, the advice was they do better in pairs, so I took that advice really, which again, I will do. If I've got an idea about fish I want to keep, I will still ask for advice in the shop, It's always good to ask for advice from as many sources as you can get. As I say, I give plenty of advice on my channel. I don't claim to be an expert. I've kept fish for a while now, and I really enjoy them. So yeah, I think that's all you can do really. Just if you're not sure about something, just look for reassurance and go with your gut really. Usually your gut's right on things like this. But yeah, I think this is probably still my favourite tank. I absolutely love cardinals. As you can see, those cardinals there are absolutely gorgeous, really colourful. When you've got a big group of them like that, really don't think you can go wrong. Having said that though, the black phantoms are really growing on me as well. They're a great fish. You can just see actually that Siamese alligator there being quite boisterous, chasing other fish away. There you go. He's getting some of his own medicine now from the epistogramma there. But yeah, it's about 4 inches, that Siamese alligator. He's got a lot more to go as well, so this tank's are probably a little bit on the small side for him, so we probably will move him on. And yeah, oh, there's a female there. There's a female McMasteri epistogramma. As you can see, you'll probably chase her. There you go. So yes, I think she's just a little bit on the small side, and that's why that she's not ready to breed yet, and he's chasing her away. Yeah, lovely tank, this one. So I've had a few questions about the planting in this tank, so I'll just quickly run through it. So we've got, this is Cryptocoryne mix, I think it's called. Again, a foreground plant, becoming one of my favourites this. So this is the Helianthemum tenellum, really nice carpeting plant there. Again, we've got another Cryptocoryne mix just here. And then we have some Bucephalandra. Again, I think it's Thea, just here. Got 2 pieces of that. We've got the Anubias nana there, which has got a nice flower on it there. We've got another piece here. And then in the background, we've got Vallisneria spiralis red, which is the one which is going all over the top. You can trim it back. I just like to let it grow crazy. What I will be doing though at some point is if I take you around the side, so just here you can see that it's starting to grow along the front, and it will take over around the front, around the side, and it will take over around the front. I'm going to be pulling all of this out because I don't want it going down the side or near the front really. We have an Echinodoros parviflorus just here, which is a nice plant. There is a Cryptocoryne balance, which is this long plant here with the crinkly leaves. Again, really nice plant. And just in the background there is Java Fern Windelov, which is this one, which I don't think likes to be there. I think it's getting too much light. So it's hanging on, it's doing okay, but it isn't thriving. But it's probably too late to move it now, so we've just got to go with it really. And then just at the front here, this red plant, again, is Ludwigia mini super red, which it is a stem plant. Normally you wouldn't put it in sort of the mid-ground or the foreground like I have here, but I am going to be keeping this nice and trim, nice and short, so it won't take over too much. And yeah, that is all the planting that is in the tank. As I say, it is a sump system for the filtration, so I'll show you, you can see there. So the water just flows in at the top there, goes up and over, and then it gets returned back into the tank through this pump. And our heater is just in there, which is a Fluval T-series heater, which is linked in the description if you're interested. I really like those heaters, but each to their own. And the light, I have upgraded the light on this. It didn't come with this light. This is another Superfish light. This is Escaper LED 74, which you can dim these with a separate dimmer pack, but I'm just using it on a smart plug and it does absolutely fine. So there we go. As I say, I've also added the Fluval skimmer there, the SK400. The reason I did that is because if you can see that the outlet is there, you can't angle it this way. So it has to come straight forwards. So because of that, it tends to hit this glass and it dissipates. So over here, as you can see, there's not a lot of flow over there. And when I did have it set up before I actually moved it, is that there was a lot of detritus forming in this back corner down there where that valance is. So I added that skimmer just to keep it really in circulation, and it has done the job. So yeah, you don't always need a surface skimmer. I find that they do help. I just can't stop looking at that Apisto there. He is a stunner. Absolutely lovely fish. Really like my cichlids. I wish I could have more. That's the only thing I would say. But having said that, I'm really enjoying my Tetras at the moment as well. I want more Tetras. I mean, what can you do? It's a crazy hobby, isn't it? You just want more and more all the time. You can see the pair of Bistos there, male and female. There we go. And she gets chased away yet again. Fortunately, there's plenty of places to hide, so she's not really showing any signs of stress. If she does, I will separate them. But at the moment, you know, there's enough hiding spots for her. And hopefully when she's a bit more mature, they will breed. So last, but by no means least, is the Betta Tank. Now, you let me know in the comments, guys, should I rescape this tank? I'm thinking about doing it, and I'm thinking that I might like to do something like a Blackwater with botanicals, that sort of thing. The reason being is because, you know, I've set this one up a while now. We've got the Monte Carlo carpeting plant there, but it's starting to get quite a bit of algae on it, which I can't get rid of. And I've trimmed it and I've, you know, tidied it up and it's still coming back. So I'm thinking it might just be time to rescape it. At the moment, it's got my half moon Betta in, who I asked in the comments actually in one of my videos whether you could give him a name. And only one person came forward and said Pep. So do you know what? His name's Pep. So everybody, meet Pep. Pep the Betta. So yeah, he's great. I've had him since May. Last time actually I filmed him, he'd nibbled away at some of his tail, but as you can see, it's grown back really well now. The other reason why I might rescape this is because some of these rocks are quite sharp, and he does keep catching himself, so I feel a bit bad. Plus there's no wood in this tank, and I usually put wood in as well. So the other thing about the tank is this is another Superfish tank. So this is a cubic 30. So it's a 30-litre tank. I'm not entirely sure of the dimensions. I think I got it wrong last time. But yeah, it's a 30-litre tank. And again, it's a kit aquarium, so you get a filter, which is in the back there. It's just a waterfall filter. You get the light. The only thing you don't get is a heater. But yeah, it's doing really well. It's just, you know, it's probably just time to do something about it. The other thing, as I mentioned, I do like my houseplants. So I've got a peace lily next to it, just with the light over the top. And again, that's doing really well. I do like putting peace lilies in my tanks, but I found that they don't do too well unless there's a light over them like that. So as you've seen with a lot of my tanks, I use strip lights, and peace lilies don't do too well with the light is not above them. So just something to bear in mind. So we've also got some water lettuce on the top. There we go. Really nice floating plant, that one. So what else have we got in here? So we've got a Nubius coin, which is that big one in the middle. We've got Bucephalandra Thea Red there. We've got Cryptocrine Wenditii Tropica, which is that big crypt there. And then in that back corner over there, that is Rotala Blood Red, which I really like. Yeah, this Betta needs some food actually. I've not fed him today. Might just drop a little bit of food in a second. But again, this tank's had a recent water change, so it doesn't need anything doing to it. So yeah, we'll just pop a bit of food in for him. Let's pop that food in for him. There you go, mate. There we go. He'll find that. He'll really enjoy that. There you go. Away he goes. So yeah, he gets fed the Attison's Betta Pro by Ocean Nutrition. Seems to really enjoy that. I'll be completely honest, I don't tend to feed my fish too much frozen food. I tend to just feed them a dry diet. I have had frozen food, but I've had a few sort of bad experiences with swim bladder issues and things like that after I fed it to them, so I'm always a little bit nervous. The other thing as well is I've tried this Betta on bloodworm and he won't take it, which is unusual for Bettas. They usually really enjoy bloodworm, but he won't take it at all. So, you know, sometimes it's better to just stick with what works, and the Attison's Betta Pro little sort of granules seems to work well. And there's a lot of good reviews about it, so I'm quite happy with that. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the little tour of all my tanks as of the 29th of January 2025. As I mentioned, I might be rescaping the Betta tank at some point in the future. Again, let me know in the comments, you know, give me some suggestions. I'm thinking like a Blackwater botanical sort of idea, maybe with a few plants, that sort of thing. But if you've got any other ideas for what I could do with it, obviously I don't want to change any of the inhabitants in there. You know, it still will be for the cherry shrimp and for the Betta. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions, whatever you think. Or if you think I should just leave it alone, again, let me know. So yeah, really appreciate everyone's support as always. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that stuff. The channel's doing really well at the moment, better than I expected it to. So I really appreciate everyone's support. And yeah, I will just leave you with some final shots of all of the aquariums. So yeah, again, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.